Do you dwell in conspiracy land often, Ted? Yeah, actually, I do because I think conspiracies are they're a lot more a part of reality than we think they are. Absolutely. I think if anyone just completely denies that conspiracies exist, I think those people are tools. I really believe that. I think that if someone comes out and says, I don't believe any of that stuff, I just believe that 19 Middle Eastern guys took over planes and we were all just shocked, and the CIA was shocked, and America, with the biggest intelligence network in the world, was just totally shocked. I just don't believe that way of thinking. I refuse to believe that way of thinking. I refuse to subscribe to that way of thinking. This idea that just everything happens coincidentally, it's all just a coincidence, and everything just happens by surprise, I think that just doesn't make any sense at all. It makes zero sense whatsoever. It is the equivalent to believing that all these pedophile priests just popped up, and the people in the higher echelons of the Vatican were just shocked. They had nothing to do with it, had nothing to do with the hierarchy. It was all just a coincidence that so many pedophile priests were in the Catholic priesthood. It's all just a coincidence, guys. No intelligent person denies exactly. It's impossible. Now some conspiracy theories, yeah, are bullshit. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the idea of trusting all conspiracy theories is also just as crazy, because it's just the opposite extreme at that point. I believe in a balance, right? I think it's a mix. I don't believe that everything is just intelligence agents everywhere, or that all these terrorists are all agents. I don't believe that either. I think it's a mix. The way I look at it is like this. Let's say you have a group of terrorists who really, really want to kill non-Muslims, right? They want to kill Americans. They want to kill Israelis. Well, those guys are going to be under surveillance, right? They're going to be under surveillance. Their computers are going to be monitored. Their phones are going to be monitored. Everything's going to be tapped. They're going to be on watch. And let's say that a particular government wants their people to be on edge so that the government can justify some kind of a policy. I can totally see governments allowing terrorist attacks to happen to justify particular policies. And things like this have been going on for thousands of years. We can go back to Nero. He burned down Rome, blamed it on the Christians so that he could rebuild some palace. It's a mixture. It's a mixture of different things. It's not just... So, for example, here's one thing that I have difficulty believing. So every time there's a shooting, you always have people who come out and say, well, the shooter was an agent. I just don't really believe all the terrorists are agents, all the shooters are agents. No, I think that there is agency and then there is control, right? It's a mixture of both things. So you have a terrorist who wants to commit a terrorist attack, and then some kind of government operative can come over and say, and pretend to be part of his cause, give him a gun, or give him some kind of training, and then that person is a tool. That terrorist is a tool. And he goes out, he does his thing, he does his massacre, his terrorist attack, he puts a bomb somewhere, he gets arrested, and then they just say, look, we got him. See, this is what happened. It was just this terrorist. And then they'll say, oh, look, we found all this stuff in his computer. He had this blueprint of the building that he wanted to attack, blah, blah, blah. And all that information was taken through surveillance. A great book on this. Oh, man. It's called NATO's Secret Armies. A great book if you want to get into the reality of conspiracy theories. David something is the author. What was the name of the author? This is a great book. NATO's Secret Armies by Daniel Ganser. Not David, sorry. Daniel Ganser. If there was one guy I would like to invite onto this channel, it would be Daniel Ganser. Daniel Ganser is a Swiss analyst, and he wrote an entire book on Operation Gladio. And he showed, the great thing about the book is not only is it that The great thing about the book is that not only does it explain to you what Operation Gladio was, the fact that all sorts of Western intelligence agencies were working with far right terrorists, but it also shows you how conspiracies are done by governments. It shows you the different layers of government. So people think that, some people may think, I should say, that when a conspiracy theory or when a conspiracy is done, that everyone in the government knows about it. That's not true. There's different layers within a government. So you have your run-of-the-mill politicians who don't know anything. They're just clueless. They're running for office. They want to implement certain policies, et cetera, et cetera. But then you have insiders. You have people who are inside. They have insight as to the happenings, as to the connivings of the state. And Daniel Ganser shows this pretty well. He shows how there were people in European governments who were just shocked. They had no idea. They were government officials within Europe who had investigations done on Gladio. And to their surprise, they found out that there were intelligence agents that were involved in this sort of stuff. And so you have your run-of-the-mill politicians, then you have your insiders, and within that realm of insiders, you have intelligence officials who are involved in these sorts of conspiracies. Gladio was definitely something that happened. Operation Paperclip, 100% that happened. When it comes to 9/11, my suspicion is that the U.S. government allowed 9/11 to happen. And there are certain facts that make 9/11 very, very eerie and actually more creepy than the official story that they have for us. The official story is that 19 terrorists hijacked planes, crashed into the trade towers, to the World Trade Center towers. But then you have the fact that they were two of the hijackers had their visas facilitated by the CIA. And then you have the fact that when two of these hijackers came into the U.S., the NYPD actually wanted to arrest them. The NYPD was surveilling them. They wanted to arrest them. And then I think it was the CIA or the FBI that intervened for them and said, hands off. They're hands off. And this happened not too long before 9/11. So very, very suspicious. Very suspicious. Yeah. So I don't believe in the official narrative of 9/11. I think that the U.S. government allowed it to happen. That's what I think. I think they allowed it to happen. They knew what these guys were up to, and they just let it happen.